The Belleville Area District Library Board will come to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will begin our meeting, as we always do, with the roll call. And we will ask our treasurer, our secretary, Hugh Scruggs, to call the roll.
Evans? Here. Dawson?
I'm here.
Eureka?
Present.
Peters?
Here.
Priest?
Here.
Same.
Hughes Grubbs? Stoudemire?
Stoudemire is excused absence. She had to work on last minute basis. So now we'll move to the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved by Eureka and supported by Dawson that the agenda be approved. Are there any comments or questions before I call for the vote? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. The motion carries with no dissenting votes. And now we've got our dates straight this month. And the minutes that we are approving are from March 8th, 2022. And those minutes were in your packet, which you received in advance. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at them. You can look for a minute here, and we want to be sure they're accurate. And when you have looked at them, we can entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the March 8th, 2022 regular meeting.
I'll
minutes
second
as
that.
presented.
So the motion has been made by Dawson and supported by Eureka that the minutes be approved. Are there any questions about the minutes? Any corrections or last minute to anything? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. And the minutes are approved with no dissenting votes. Public comments. I think we'll go quickly. We have, no, we don't have any members of the public with us tonight. So our public comments are we will not be having any. So the one main item of business that's not our usual is item 6. It's a resolution approving ballot language for filing of operating millage proposal for the August 2nd, 2022 ballot. That language is in your packet. It is labeled Truan. That's the lawyer's name, Truan, on the side, and this is the legally appropriate language.
It says levy additional.
It says an increase. Yes. So we as a group, not just this board, but the whole library family, has to make sure that people understand why it's worded the way it is. And we can
That's the best they could do, huh?
This is because, and we'll have to explain this to people, that and it is between COVID and opening our new building. We were not able to go in 2020 or 2021 for this millage, and therefore, at the end of last year, the millage that had been adopted in 2010 expired, and the legal requirements say that we have to have this word increase in the language that will be on the ballot. If you want to look at,
Well, I like that the last part of that restores the millage expired with the 2021 tax levy.
right,
That's the part I think we have to.
and that's on Exhibit B. And that's the very important,
It's on.
ca-
It's on both of them. It's on both
Yeah.
of them.
I don't know what the
Right.
difference
And
is.
Right.
what's the
Yeah.
question?
That's the
Pardon?
question that they're answering, yes or no to.
yes.
Shall, well, that's so, it's so long and
That's what,
complicated.
have you ever read
It's the
ballot?
law.
It's no
I
different
know,
than
but
any
it's,
other one.
but I mean, can you imagine
Yeah.
people trying to read this?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's no different than any
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
What I really feel is that we have to really activate to,
Is there some
We have to
way?
let
this-
everybody know that it's not a new tax.
it's a
How do you do that?
continuation
How
of
do you
what
do
they
it?
did. You talk to people.
Talk to people. Your
Make up some type of-
everything.
We should have talking
Information.
points.
Yep.
We should really make
Yeah.
out talking points for
I-
everybody. Because you don't want to come, you want to say the same thing. Everybody say
Exactly.
the same thing.
Right.
Okay, but I have a question on something that you said. You said because of COVID and the library being closed, we couldn't have an election.
We didn't. go for
Well,
the
there's a
election.
difference.
And I said.
Because I don't want someone to say, oh, well, why couldn't you have had an
Yeah,
election?
other
So,
people had
yeah.
the election.
Yeah, we all need to be saying the same thing.
Right.
Mhm. So if we could have like a little card or something that we keep with us when you never know when you're gonna be up against having to talk about it.
Right.
And I wanna make sure I,
Campaign that we'll be doing.
And
all
we
those
should bring it
things.
up. It's not just that when we
Yeah.
have to, we need to be actively educating
Right.
everybody that will listen.
at the beginning, I'm gonna
It's
need, I'm gonna
essentially-
need
It's
prompts.
essentially a renewal, even though it cannot be
Yeah.
turned that in the ballot language.
Right,
So-
it's a continuation of what people have already.
Mhm. And I think it'll be a little easier because they've seen the results.
And isn't it a lower amount?
Well, it's
It's
been,
the
rolled-
same.
it's the same millage, but it's been rolled back by Headley since the first time we
Okay.
levied it, so,
So it's a little less.
yeah.
Because wasn't it 7.7?
It was 0.7
That's what we
originally,
asked for.
yeah.
That's
And this is the current Headley rollback. There could very well be another one this fall, so this number actually might be down even further from this.
Okay.
And it'll be on the desk in the library where people can pick it up.
We could have an information sheet here.
This parenthetical at the bottom is very important, that this restores millage that expired in 2021.
That is essential
That's the essential piece.
to
It's-
the
it's-
library
it's-
running.
It's nearly half of our budget, so
Yeah.
we need it to
Yeah.
run, to operate.
Right.
I mean, this is what we decided last year when we.
Right.
It is what we
Yeah.
decided. We did talk to the lawyer in advance who told us that we would have to include language like this, but we could put in an explanation, which is what this parenthetical at the bottom is. But it still leaves us with a difficult situation. People could look at it and just go. So we have a effort to make, and we, of course, will need citizen support to help work on a ballot.
We can put something in the newspaper too.
Oh, we'll do tons of.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be forming a ballot committee, which, because we as a board can't
Do anything.
do this,
Okay.
but we can work with the ballot committee to help on it.
And who will that be? Who do you get people? How do you get people to do that?
Well, our supporters have done it. The last time we did it, which was 2016, Debbie Green chaired the group, and there were a number of people. This year, we'll have to
Interested library users and citizens, and I'm sure
Okay.
people will step up.
And the board can be part of that. and then
Where
Yeah.
would we have the meetings?
We just have to keep
We'll
them
figure
very
that out.
separate.
Yeah.
It has to be separated from our work here as an official board.
I think you had a question earlier about the difference between exhibit A and B. Someone, was that you? Okay.
No,
Well,
I
thought
said it didn't look like there was any
Okay.
difference.
Yeah, exhibit A is the actual ballot language. Exhibit B is basically the ballot language, but it's what goes in the newspaper to advertise the ballot. The legal notice that gets placed.
oh. So we are doing what is legally required. Even while
voting on
isn't-
accepting this.
it isn't exactly as we'd all
Right.
love to have it. So we do need a motion on this, and in fact, we have to, do we have to,
We have to do a resolution, which I think.
we have
is,
this resolution we have to go.
I make a motion that we approve the ballot language and filing of the operating millage proposal for the August 2nd, 2022 election.
I'll second.
Been moved by Chehevitz and supported by Dawson that the proposed ballot language be accepted. With that motion, we can continue to discuss if we need to. Is there more need for discussion? Is there need for more discussion? I don't see any.
Can you put something like this presented? in your
As
motion?
presented.
This is the most consequential piece of business we have to do tonight. So seeing no indication of additional conversation about this, I call for all those in favor.
I mean, it needs to be a roll call.
This has to be a roll call vote, they always have. So I ask our secretary to call the roll.
Jehevitz,
Yes.
Dawson,
Yes.
Jerika,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Priest,
Yes.
Hughes, Grubbs, yes.
The motion carries with no dissenting votes. So we move on to item 7, which is our committee reports. We actually do have some.
You know what you're going to put in there.
Are we gonna do this tonight? Before I move on, do we need to?
We can fill that up after the meeting.
We can, we have to have signatures. The secretary, so, but that's, we don't need the treasurer's signature, so. Very nice that you were able to comment.
Yeah.
Okay. We already had the vote, it was a roll call vote, and we are able to move on now, right? Okay. The building committee is our first committee report.
Well, as of last Tuesday, we hadn't heard from DTE about increasing the gas pressure. They need 8.5 guaranteed PSI to keep all gas equipment running full blast, if they ever need it full blast. The piping doesn't need to be changed. It's the meter that needs to be upgraded, and I'm assuming that nothing's changed there. We
may leave a deposit with O'Neill, just because we have no idea when DTE might do this. It might be a year from now, and Mary Jo would like to close the books on the bond. Lens on the flagpole light, the ones that are in the ground, that was cracked. It's tempered glass, so it had that little crackled thing, and that's going to be replaced. Men's room sensor needs to be made more sensitive. Children's story room has been very warm at 78 degrees. And I think if I remember what Hillary said, that it's been that way ever since there was a 50-degree day, and things got adjusted and that room never went down. Dean's gonna look at it so that the kids area, oh, well, that's the interesting part too. The story room, which has the radiant heat, is at 78, but the rest of the kids area is at 70. And the radiant heat at the front of the building, the entrance, seems to be at a normal temp, so.
And the story room was still warm on Saturday.
Was it?
I'm like, come on. We didn't play Candyland, it was too warm.
There was,
The
yeah,
chocolate
I
would have
noticed there
melted.
weren't,
Yeah.
kids didn't really go in there a bunch. I don't know. But they were everywhere else.
The curtain wall leaks, there was a lot of discussion, because there were some leaks that were actually on the stairs. Dean, after really looking over, doesn't believe it's the curtain wall exactly, not the windows. He believes it's water getting under the coping at the top. And they're gonna, as a next response, I guess, do some caulking, but it won't show it all. There's a window facing Charles that likes to whistle. So they're gonna explore what that is. There's a telephone pole that's leaning. Is that right?
Street.
Yeah, that was taken out, but Dean left 10 feet of sidewalk, and that was still left in gravel. So he could get conduit through, so they've got to come back. He forgot all about it. Get blue ribbon in there to pour some concrete.
Yeah, the leaning telephone pole was taken out. It's just the sidewalk needs to be replaced.
The cores for the alarmed doors, like in the youth department, and I don't know where else the alarm doors are.
The emergency.
Terrace, the
stairwells,
stairwells. They have to go and get cores for those doors from the original vendor. So they're waiting for those to be delivered. And the water heater is, I guess we got a new, less sensitive dishwasher.
Mhm.
And the water heater is being drained of sediment. It's caused, they believe it's caused by the anode reacting to the water. The anode purpose is to protect the tank from rusting by keeping the galvanization there, but it's causing the sediment. So Dean and Dan believe best thing I could do right now is to cut the anode, which has a plug attached to it, so still use the plug, but not use the anode, which eventually means that I guess it'll rust, but it could be years and years and years. And Matt has, now I don't understand my notes here. There's an owner's manual for all the equipment in this building that Matt has sent or was going to
We
send.
have closing documents, warranties, different things like that from the different contractors, and we do have it.
Okay. And that's all I have.
You covered stuff I hadn't written down.
Did you mention about the water irrigation system?
We
Turned on?
we just sent our contract in, so it should be turned on in May. I requested the third week in May.
Okay, good. That's about it.
So the building committee meeting is a lot shorter than it used to be. And, but as you see from Joy's detailed notes, there's still quite a few little pieces, little items to keep track of. Even now that we are 2 years in.
You're talking about 31,000 square foot building, yeah, you're gonna have problems.
Yeah, and we probably always will, but it's very good that we have our team that is keeping on, continuing to support us.
So the dishwasher's operating.
We have a
properly, that's
Yeah.
great. What kind did you end up getting?
I want to say it's a GE, but I have to double
Okay.
check.
I just wondered, because it was a Bosch.
You mean another
Yeah.
dishwasher, another hot water?
Another dishwasher.
Remember, it
The old
just,
one.
Did they,
Dean has it.
Dean
Dean
has it?
took it.
Yeah, he gets the Bosch.
That's a good one.
it is.
If it works, then it's
quiet.
great.
Depending on where you
I could
use.
use one.
His wife gets a really nice Bosch
Yeah, it's
dishwasher
not-
out
it's
of
not-
the deal.
it's
huh?
not operational. Yeah.
Well, we don't know that for sure. We just know that he was the one to take it for.
Didn't work here, and
I
we
know,
had
just
to
to go
make a
somewhere
change,
else.
so.
So
it's good for you
yes,
guys.
for the public record, we just don't want to be saying things that aren't,
No,
Bosch would not take it back, is what I have.
Right.
It's too late, yeah.
So.
But we do have a 3-year warranty on the new one, so.
oh, good.
Who knew you needed one?
Yeah.
Any other questions about the building committee? The building committee really has bonded with each other. We've had a lot of time together. And we have good meetings, even when we're talking about, well, and this time we were able to get, it was a pretty day and we were able to go outside and look at the outside things and we're moving along. So I guess we can move on to our next committee report, which is our bylaws committee.
I have nothing.
No report on bylaws. Our treasurer is not here, and as I understand it, we have no finance committee items to discuss. Our marketing committee, that's the one we have to celebrate. And I am so happy that committee chair Hughes Grubbs is here because her committee outdid themselves in planning and executing. Her committee, which consists mostly of her and Mary Jane, and Mary Jane did yeoman's work
did.
as always on these kinds of
Very nice.
events.
Good.
But the marketing committee was that which was tasked with making sure everything went well on Saturday, and everything went more than well, and our staff needs to be lauded for that too, because I don't know if you saw all the activity in this building, there was something everywhere.
It's very nice, very well attended. The weather outdoors was tolerable. I mean, thank God we didn't have to be out there a real long time, but people were, willing to endure.
For the ribbon cutting, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really good. And as Sharon was saying, special thanks to the staff. They really stepped up, did a wonderful, wonderful job. And I think we were more concerned about running out of food, and we didn't. So that was good.
It
that
was
we had
exactly enough. I mean, not exactly, but a little bit
was-
more.
Just.
There was one sandwich left.
Yeah, but that was after people had.
I
two
mean,
or
really,
three.
how could you possibly calculate it like that?
I think we ran out of water, but, special thanks to the lady, I can't remember her name,
Her name is
Trader Joe.
Ebony Evans.
Right, and.
From
she
Trader
was
Joe.
Very, very pleasant,
Mhm.
and we appreciate the donation that they
Mhm.
gave, and all the other donations.
And Ebony Evans is a Belleville resident and a very strong library supporter. She is, she's part of our library community, and it was especially nice to have that support from a
A great job.
corporate
and-
partner.
And all the people that volunteered and passed out the food. Also the band, the the group that performed, they were outstanding. And Mary Jo missed her tribute, but I think
No,
she
she
came back.
they
for
caught
it.
it.
They
We caught
played
it.
it again.
Yeah, but I got it on video. for her. But they were surprising. I wasn't familiar with them, but they were exceptional. I was very, very pleased with that. And, you know, thank all of you for turning out to help organize things, you know, volunteering, stepping up, and special thanks to Mary Jane. Really, truly appreciate all that you
My
did.
next life, I'm gonna be a party planner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
think
could
you
be.
have that,
Yeah.
down pat.
You already do it in this life.
So, Lindsay's mom was here when I got here at 9 o'clock on Saturday, and Lindsay learned all of her organizational skills from her mother.
Oh,
I said, you taught her well, thank you so much, she's great. So she and I got the room, you know, ready and putting things out. So the next open house we have, you know, like when we're celebrating 10 years or 20
and
years or
have an
something.
additional floor put on.
We can't put tables and chairs in the room where the food is because nobody was moving. And I had, you know, different people who would come up. Well, please don't put this in the paper. Because I don't want to embarrass either Marty or Jack Gloria. But I was at the cookie station, you know, I was passing out cookies. And I see Marty coming up and she's got her hands full, you know, she's got a bottle of water and she's got a sandwich and some chips. And I see Jack Gloria right behind her. And I said, Marty, would you like a cookie? And she said, yes. He said, give it to me, I'll take it for her. And I'm like, okay. So I gave him the cookie. And then he said, MJ, there's no more chairs. Can you get us some chairs? I'm like, well, sure, I can multitask. So went around the table and I went into the closet. Luckily, Lindsay had given me a key for the closet. And I pulled out some more chairs and Jack pulled him over to a table that had space at the end of the table, you know, so the two of them could sit down. And Jack came up to me and he goes, who is that woman?
Oh, he's taking stuff for Marty.
Taking
I
care
said-
of her.
I said, I'm sorry, I thought you know, I just saw that she needed some help. I said, well, how sweet of you. He said, and I'm coming back for my own cookies. We got her all situated, but it was, you know, it was,
That's how people make friends. So
yes,
that's good.
so I introduced them, you know, to each other.
Well, we saw so many familiar faces, all kinds of people that we know from the library, but then the great thing was all the people that we didn't know. They came in.
Yeah, the kids really enjoyed it. I mean, I was thinking that there were gonna be more of the little kids, but it was still, you know, quite a few.
We had a lot in
A
the
lot of them in the
children's
kids' room.
area.
There
They-
were all.
They stayed,
Hear that much.
Okay, yeah,
they stayed very
proud of that.
active in there.
We had a story time at noon for them.
Okay.
A lot of them stayed around
Well,
after
that's
that,
really
yeah.
good. I didn't see them, yeah.
Yeah, I saw part of that. That was good.
Yeah, but everything went very, very well. Very pleased. Looking forward to the donors event, which will be coming up on the 29th.
So I had two young ladies who were helping me. They were taking care of the sandwiches, doling up the sandwiches. One was named Heidi and the other one was Ari. And they were both just so personable, you know, very helpful to people who needed, you know, a little bit of extra help or having, you know, telling them what was available. And I practically had to move them out of there when we were done. They just wanted to stay there. And Heidi said, do you need some help cleaning up? And I said, well, if you want to start ripping tablecloths off, that's fine, you know, but I finally got them to go home. Plus they hadn't eaten. I kept telling them, take a break one at a time, you know, and get something to eat, so.
That was good.
What is your impression of it?
Oh, I'm over the moon. I'm ecstatic. I think this was fabulous. I checked the numbers on our people counter and overall we had about 400 people
Oh, wow.
coming through our doors
Even
for
with
this.
the double,
Even
So,
though they went out and came back in again.
Well, it could be that there were some people that went out and came back in again,
well,
right?
even so, it was still.
Yeah, it was
Still a
still
lot.
still well attended.
It was still well attended. I think it's safe to say it exceeded our expectations.
We know we had at least 299 because there were 300 sandwiches ordered and there's only one left.
And nobody ate
Yeah.
2 sandwiches.
Right.
I think a number of people had ate
Yeah.
well, and it was a good thing because
Yeah.
people stayed around
Uh-huh.
for quite a while and we're
Enjoyed
upstairs,
themselves. So I
yeah.
was
That's
very,
nice.
very happy, very thrilled. I'm ecstatic with my staff. They all really pulled together for this and put a lot of work into this. I thank all of them. They all did a lot, especially Hillary and Lindsay. And in particular, Lindsay and her department, they really did a
really
lot.
did.
So I just really want to sing their praises.
It's obvious with the staff, when they really like their boss, they work extra hard to make the boss look good.
Well, I think the whole organization, people feel good about where they are and what
Yeah.
they're doing.
And you're allowed to be creative.
And it-
Yeah, and they really are.
Yeah.
They just really, not, hit it out of the park as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah, it was wonderful.
So, I also want to thank Carmen at Crafted. She donated some, carrot
Carrot
cakes.
Really?
to our
I talked to her
event.
today and she said some people came from here over there after they had a taste, they wanted
Oh,
more.
see.
She stayed really busy on Saturday, so.
Good,
That's good.
And then also, the Belleville Area Chamber of Commerce and the Friends of the Library contributed to the program, and so I want to thank them as well, so.
and all the dignitaries that came out to taking time out of their schedule.
I was really happy with the dignitaries that came. I was especially happy that Debbie Dingle did come. You know, the idea, I want to thank Rosemary too for really being able to talk about this in the paper several times. You did, in addition to our advertisements and things. And I noticed that you had quoted that we were talking about having this when we could go without masks. When I talked with Congresswoman Dingle, she's concerned because, in Washington DC numbers are
Yeah,
going
yeah.
up. We're not completely done with COVID. And that was a piece of my thinking in not trying to crowd the whole town. We were happy to be out there without masks, but we didn't crowd in shoulder to shoulder like sometimes you do at a ribbon cutting, just because we want everybody to be safe. And as far as I know, everybody that our event so far will, and hopefully our community will maintain the low numbers that we're currently having. But obviously, all over the country and all over the world, this thing is still not totally, it's not totally gone. So we still have to be careful.
Never gonna be gone.
Well, and there'll probably always, I remember you saying
Like
that
the
a long
flu.
time ago,
Like the flu.
there'll maybe always people that wear masks, and you saw there were a number of people, and the Congresswoman, one of them, because she said she's tested negative, but so many people that she's close to and knows and works with are having this issue, so that kind of opened a red flag to me when she said that, and I said, I don't guess we need to push our luck, crowding everybody all together. And so I'm very glad the board was there to help us do the celebration. It was, Mary Jo really came through with the idea of something of really highlighting the different kinds of people that come into the library, the different needs that we serve. And thank all of you for participating and articulating those.
I pretended I was you.
Oh, thank you. You were
Yeah.
probably a better me than I.
And when I did my introductions, I introduced Joy first, because
Yes.
Joy really, of all the people, she deserved to be there to celebrate this building, because that meticulous work she has done in the building committee, and having a person that knows libraries the way she does, as well as cares about how everything was done, I think we've just benefited. And the rest of us have learned a lot about running a library between Joy and Mary Jo talking about stuff. We've learned a bunch. So thank you, Joy. We did recognize you and all the people that are also close with Rick. It did increase the prayers that came your way.
Well, that was, I'm sorry to have missed it. It sounds like it was fabulous.
It really was.
Yeah.
Well, you deserved to be there, and we had you there with us in our hearts, but I'm sorry, but I'm just glad that things were successful tonight. That you got to the hospital on time, that they did what they needed to do.
Me too. Happened so fast.
I have been through that emergency
Mary Jo.
husband surgery.
Mary Jo and I were standing there listening to music. And Paul said, "Oh, you two, sit down." He says, "I want to play a tribute to Mary Jo."
Yeah.
He did. Then he was nice enough to ask me what I wanted to hear, and I go, "Is you is or is you ain't my baby." He said, other band members looked at me, Paul says, "Oh, I remember that I played that a lot with Diana Krall, you know?"
Yeah.
And he sang it, it's just beautiful. It was fun, it was fun.
It was fun. I saw lots of people back there.
The closest I got to the band members was when I showed them that they could go out the side door of the program room, so they didn't have to walk all through the building.
Yeah, good.
And I showed them how to keep the door open, because I was in that, you couldn't hear any music in the program,
No.
which was why I kept encouraging people to leave the room.
Yeah.
Wow. Where was the music?
It was fireplace.
Oh, he loved Paul.
Perfect place.
It was a perfect place, you know, the
Right.
seating was great. There were a lot of young kids who came and had their food and sat down in the great big chairs. But it was really appropriate, and people of all ages were sitting in there.
It was good.
So the marketing committee is by far the most fun committee to talk about. We do have another meeting. I think as Alma was closing her report, she mentioned we've got another event that is especially for the donors who helped us to be able to have all our amenities and special features. And so we are meeting tomorrow at 3. It is a public meeting, so any of you can come, but certainly Alma and Mary Jane are teamed up beautifully. I want to thank a couple other people too, especially Michelle Montour,
Oh, yeah.
who has for both last Saturday and for what we're planning for the next event. She's really phenomenal, and you know, she's helped us to kind of keep our ideas of our design, keep our some integrity to the design in the building and to what kind of art we bring in, so.
How many people
We
are
got a great
expecting for that
community
event?
here.
How
So-
many people are you expecting for the donor event?
About 100.
And 75.
Mr. Jarita, I'm in a meeting, okay? I'll give you a call later.
Before you leave, take a look at the photographs that are in the area where we're gonna be putting the art. She did a great job of putting them together. Some of them at the top would be during construction, and then underneath be after it was done,
Right,
you know.
she's arranged them by
Yeah.
areas and themes, so you kind of see how parts of the building came together. Any more? We could have a whole nother 3-hour party
No.
talking about our 3-hour party. Our next, it's item 7E, which is the Personnel Committee.
No report.
No report, and the Policy Committee.
I've been too busy planning a party.
That's what I'm saying, no report. Our Policy Committee Chair has not had time to do anything else. And the Art Committee is meeting
Next week,
what day? Do you know?
next
Because
Thursday.
I don't think I have it down.
Next Thursday?
I don't think I will be here.
The 21st.
Okay.
And they did not meet in March.
They did not meet in March, so we don't have an art committee report for today, but just a notice that it will be meeting next week.
And that's at 3 o'clock.
Three.
And I will need an excused absence.
You're gonna have to have a note.
I'm gonna get a note from my 4-year-old granddaughter who I'm taking care of next week in New York City.
Fine.
I'm going to be
I
the
just
child
I
care.
just stepped back from doing that.
I know, I'm trying to keep up with you.
Yeah, you better take your vitamins.
Yeah, that's, I've been trying to train to make my legs work, which they're not working
First we
very
had a
well.
cold when we came back, because every time we go, little kids always have something.
They
Right?
do.
Well,
They do.
Michelle was so or her son, daughter, or whatever the situation was, when she was gonna go visit the grandkids.
Mhm.
You know, please wear a mask, don't go to a meeting just before you're coming, whatever. So when I saw her while she was hanging all the photographs, I said, how was your visit? She said, great, they gave me a cold.
Right. She's staying well for them. Okay, group, let's get back to item A, which is approval of accounts payable.
I make a motion to approve accounts payable as presented.
And I'll second that.
It has been moved by Dawson and supported by Priest that our accounts payable be approved. We have a fairly long list. This is kind of our normal things. There's a few things in here that are having to do with getting finished our installations and for
And
the,
the party stuff.
just a few things, but most of these are our normal kind of expenses. Are there any particular questions? We have a motion and a support of that motion, so properly made motion. So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed by saying no. There are no dissenting votes. The motion is approved. And now we're at the director's report, which is second only to the marketing committee for today.
I hate to disappoint you, but it's hard to get out of board deck and have a party during the same week.
But you did
Have a
not,
short report.
so we don't have all kind of pictures. We do have a few.
You did a few things. Did a few
You
things
got a
for
few,
you.
you got a few. You
Yeah,
did.
we do have some programming coming up. I do especially want to welcome back Amy Greshaw. She was back from her leave.
She brought her baby with her.
Yeah, so we have a new junior staff member. So we're really happy to have her back. This is something only a librarian can love, but we are receiving a new microphone reader printer setup because our technology was kind of made obsolete, especially the printing piece of it. They don't make printers like that anymore that go with that type of machine. So the new reader printer is going to be phenomenal. It's going to let us do a lot of things. If we want to do any kind of digitizing projects in the future, we'll be well equipped to do that. It's so much smaller than the last one. I'm just so impressed. It's like that compared to
Something that looks like a television.
something that looks, yeah. So.
And so it's over. in
It's,
the-
yeah, it's not, we don't have it installed yet. We just received it, but
Is it easy to use?
it should be easy to use.
So we won't have those funny old microfiche machines.
Well, this will read, this does the same thing. It reads the real, but
Oh,
it
we
lets
don't
you
have
do,
to
it
have
lets
the
you really
funny
clean
stuff.
up. A lot of times those old newspapers, they're really hard to read.
Right.
So this really lets you clean up the contrast and do different things. And
You can send it off to, right?
yeah,
Probably.
yeah, it's a lot easier. You could, just save stuff to a flash drive if you want and take it with you. So it's
Wow,
gonna be a lot easier to use, I think.
That's like one of the reference questions
right.
all over the country. People call the librarians or send emails and asking, do you have so-and-so's obituary on such and such a date? My
From
dad died.
1969, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I want, and, you're trying to find it and have it digital. It makes it a lot
For
easier.
some of those, you can Google it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are been digitized and are online, so.
And what is it for the census?
1950 census is.
The
available now.
1951 just
Is it?
came out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, good, I'll be on one finally. I'll have to check that out.
I don't
Oh,
know if it's
I
available
remember.
on
So that,
Ancestry.
yeah,
yet.
that ancestry
but
will
it's-
have it.
yeah.
That's
I
interesting.
remember
It's not
my
there, it's not there
graduates.
yet, but
Yeah, it's available from a .gov site that I can't remember right now.
Okay.
Oh, I remember the agonies of microfiche when I was in graduate school. Modern day folks don't have a whole different experience.
I feel like I'm getting old because I remember the old, the old days where you had to hand crank it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Then you had to hand crank it back,
Yeah,
to roll
yeah.
it back up, or the librarian would give you a little crap.
Had to walk to the library uphill both ways, and it was horrible.
But it was exciting to read some of the old stuff in the microphone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I remember.
it is an era of discovery,
Yeah.
which I think you'll still have that kind of.
Oh, we have someone
coming up
using it.
with
That's what
different
brought it to us our attention. We have someone who's actively using it, researching a book. So,
Mhm.
Oh, that's good.
Well, good. I think you gave us a very nice full report and even an article to. So thank you. Any other questions for, amazingly, Mary Jo did something more than than party. She did something more than party this month. The library has stayed busy. Hey, did anybody come, besides me, come in here on Thursday? Oh, man, did they have fun. They had, what was it?
what
Oh,
was Thursday?
that was their dress up as
Was that
a.
Oh, yeah,
Your
yeah.
favorite.
Oh, your favorite-
Oh,
favorite
the
book
character.
character.
Yes,
Yeah.
dress up
Yes,
as their
we-
favorite character,
Yeah.
and staff here was, it was so cute.
It was
They
National
were all-
Library Week last week, so we had staff spirit week. and we had
Did you take
events, so-
pictures?
So we have some pictures. We
Oh,
have a
good.
silly sock day and wear a book themed t-shirt day and
Whose
That's cute.
idea was that?
so. I think Karen came up, I think the children's librarians came up with that, yeah.
Mm.
And so many of the staff really participated and came up, it made me laugh about how many of them were just ready to do all kinds of goofy stuff.
When I worked at the hospital, I worked on the oncology unit. And for a lot of people, that can be, depending on what the diagnosis is and how the person's doing, it can be really, that's a happy place to be. And so I went to my boss and I said, so I have an idea. And she said, yeah, what is it this time? And I said, how about if on the 13th day of the month, no matter what day of the week it is, weekend, whatever, we have a crazy t-shirt day. And she said, okay, well, it got to be so popular that even if we had somebody from the nursing pool come in and help us, because maybe we were short-staffed or we had a lot of critical patients. A lot of them would bring crazy t-shirts with them just in case they got pulled to our unit so that they could.
So they'd be ready.
Be part of it. But my favorite t-shirt was this one that I bought that said, nurses do the real doctoring. And there was this
Ain't that
one,
the truth?
and there was this one oncologist whose name I will not mention. Really great guy, really great doctor. But he came up to me one day and he said, MJ, I really don't like that shirt. And I said, because? He said, well, I'm the doctor and you're the nurse. And I said, yeah, so what's not true? Turned around and went the other way. But yeah, we used to do that and the patients would get involved. It's stuff like that is, even if you're not working on an oncology unit, it's really.
Yeah, you think it's
Yeah.
very important, but it really is.
It builds our staff and
It builds morale.
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
brought that extra oomph that they gave us on Saturday, because they all worked extra
Yeah.
hard. Well, actually, Mary Jane has started us out. Our next item is trustee comments. Actually, this whole meeting has been trustee comments. But we'll start this time with John.
I The open house is wonderful. It really was. Quite proud of the staff. Rosemary, since she's like part of the family here, I think she ought to sit at the table instead of doing that stuff in her lap. You know, so you're welcome.
For 100 years.
Okay, well, I thought I'd be more comfortable.
Look at her big
I would
notebook.
block that one.
She wouldn't know how to write on a table.
Yeah. Also, when I went Saturday to get some chairs, I noticed that the chairs are in a pile on freestanding. And most organizations have dollies where you can take the whole dolly out. We don't have that.
Yes, we do.
We
have
do.
two- Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Except I'm glad you mentioned that. We do have 2 dollies for chairs. We actually could use another 1 or 2, so we're gonna. give them
Okay,
some
good. Thank you.
more. Yeah.
Thank
Because that's where I took the chairs from when
Okay.
I needed them.
I thought they
Yeah.
were just doing it to
Maybe
make you,
to
Yeah,
to all of them,
Okay,
so we need a
good,
couple
good.
more.
All right.
thought they were
That's it.
making you do more lifting. Actually, before we finish the trustee comments, we did have public comment time and you weren't here, Rosemary. Do you
No.
have anything to comment on?
I was still in something.
And
They were abusing me. and
Were
I
they
had-
brutal tonight?
Yeah, so I had to stay because I didn't want them to think I was running. from-
Oh, I'm
But
so-
that's-
well, we're glad you were able to join us.
Yes,
And we will go back to trustee comments.
Were you done, Jen?
I'm done.
Mary Jane
I had a good time on Saturday.
did a good job.
I really did.
Probably kind of, when you're like, "I'm home now."
When I went home, Rick said, can I get you something to drink? And I said, as long as it's got alcohol in it. So I had a nice glass of white wine.
Oh, double.
I think I've said just about everything that needs to be said. Everything was good.
It is good. Linda.
We're in here a lot and we've seen this place many times, but I was standing by the door for a while and watching people's faces as they came in and saw the library for the first time, some of them. And then the look on their faces. So I know that that really was a good thing we did and that the public really appreciated it. And really, I think we're gonna get a lot more people coming to the library.
Yeah, we did.
That's good,
Mhm.
especially if it's their first time.
Yeah.
Joy.
I just want to give kudos to all of you for the heavy lifting. This is especially for MJ and Alma and Mary Jo. And I know you did a bunch.
Mhm.
You're always quiet about it.
These
but
were
I know you did.
on this one, no, girlfriend over here. Mary Jane, Mary Jane did the lifting. So
She's the
this
party
just-
lady. She's
We
always been
still,
doing-
we just missed you with.
Becomes second nature.
it's the thinking.
Yeah. Were you a partier when you were a teenager?
My parents used to let us have kids over, we had a basement. My dad made sure there was a pool table down there, so he knew where I was.
So you're the party house.
Yeah, but the pool table was, it was about maybe when I was 14, and so, we're interested in boys were more interested in me, and if they knew we had a pool table, my dad knew where I was, and he knew who was in the basement.
Very strategic.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I have one question. Do we know when Harvest Fest is this year?
I do.
Okay. I'll get that on.
Oh my God, we haven't even had real
Gee,
spring
is the
yet.
museum gonna take part in this?
there is
Facetiously, yeah.
reimagining and visioning going on, and that's, well, I'll wait till it's time when I talk. We'll answer Joy's question.
I don't know
I think I saw a check somewhere going through Friends accounts for Chamberlain. Maybe it's some notes or cookies or something for Chamberlain Farms. So I was wondering. He doesn't know the dates.
Let me see that. I almost have it. Saturday, October 8th.
Okay.
Right.
So it's not my birthday week this time.
We're not gonna have a party for you. All right, that's all I have.
Well, take home our regards to Ricky.
Yes.
Alma, my dear.
Again, just want to emphasize what I said earlier. Thank everyone for all of their support, attendance, any and everything that everyone did to make the event a success. Appreciate that very much. And there was something else that I was going to say. So busy writing. Yeah, looking forward to the open house.
To the
Donor. Yeah.
That's all right. When you work as hard, when you work as hard as you
You
all
didn't.
have.
I thought maybe you'd say something about the two gentlemen that you were entertaining.
Oh, the police officers that came.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really nice, and they were excited about the library and a little shy about eating, and we
Yeah.
encouraged them to eat.
We like put sandwiches in their hands.
Yeah, they really enjoyed it. Everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
I got a lot of, I didn't hear a negative comment anyway. So that was good.
And they had a call.
Yeah.
And then they
Someone.
They were able, yeah, but then they were able to come back after they took care of it.
Isn't there a car that turned over? Didn't they say that?
That was during the ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Aaron River Drive.
And also, I want to thank one additional person, my girlfriend Danielle Sizemore came with
Easter
Easter
bunny.
Bunny
Yeah.
outfit and just kind of went through the area. She has a business, Tuesday's Toys, and she said if she had time, she would stop in. And she did. And she allowed the kids to take pictures at no charge, so.
Oh,
that's
nice.
Very cute. We had so many activities. And it does really, I'm taking over the chairperson's talk and now I'm doing my rambling talk. But it does bode well for the kind of things, you know, our staff was so creative in figuring out things for every age and all over the building. And so hopefully in future times, we'll do some other things like that. Also, I am glad that we are really functioning as the place where people come to meet. And hearkening back to the recent discussion where Joy asked about the Harvest Fest, the museum, the township is planning an event. There's a flyer down on our circuit desk on June 1st. There we are,
Yeah.
which is a museum visioning, which does is a promising step that we may have an operating museum out here. I'm hopeful that there will be the kind of communication and the kind of stakeholder engagement that we worked on here to do this library. We try and encourage that because I made a lot of emphasis on Saturday. We all have about this being our civic hub. And I think that we're doing our part. We want to have our partner museum strong as well. So I'm glad that the meeting is scheduled and I'm glad that the meeting is taking place here in our library.
Museum and Historical Society together.
Correct.
So there's an online survey for that that's supposed to come out, start in May.
Yeah,
So
so
even if you can't be here for that, you could still do.
I don't, yeah, the process is, it is something that the township is undertaking. We are merely offering, as we do for everybody, all kinds of groups come in here and hold things. And I'm so glad about that. And it does seem to serve, everybody said that's what we needed and it's already working out. And I think like Linda said, so many people came who had never been here before. I think we'll have.
I needed to use a room prior to this meeting, for a meeting prior to this meeting, and I got the last one.
Wow. Oh, one of these little rooms? Oh, well, good, good. So that's all I have to say, along with another great big thank you to the entire community for turning out, and certainly to this board and the staff of our library for showcasing what we have so beautifully. And with that,
Madam Chair, I make the motion that this meeting be adjourned.
it's been moved and supported by 6 people.
I didn't say anything.
That this meeting be adjourned. We stand adjourned.